Future Proof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high impact bespoke events. So here we are now at, I think it's called the Green Lake. It obviously has a more official name than that. Caldera, there we are. Paul's just told me. It's a caldera. So I'm not looking at the lake at the moment, I'm looking at the valley next to it. And then if I pan back, you can then see urbanisation then next to the valley, as we then pick up this incredible lake. And on first look it can appear misleading because there is such a deep dark shadow on the lake, but you've got that green the mountain behind it, the hill, whatever you want to call it. And I go into the shadow, you can then see that is actually the lake. The guide told us a story about two people in love, one of royal descent, the other of the people. So the princess was told by her king father she had to finish the relationship, so she was able to meet her man and say her final farewell. And apparently with the two lakes, both of them sat either side of a lake, both of them crying, and he had green eyes, so he cried green tears, she had blue eyes, and so she cried blue tears. But moving away from the fantasy, they're saying the shallower the lake, I think, the more greener the colour. The deeper the lake, the bluer the colour is what it's really all about. But stunningly beautiful. And yes, that urbanisation, actually, Paul, it reminds me when we're camping and when we look down on a caravan park and see all the caravans. But these, of course, are all housing. Very, very, very green, unbelievable waterfall. And they say they can literally have all four seasons in one day. And the guy described yesterday as such a day. Had torrential rain overnight. We wondered what we were going to have. People were in thick coats this morning, waiting to get on buses. Tours leaving before ours. And we are all now in T-shirts again, and it's lovely and warm. In fact, let me have a look. I think if I can gauge this, I'm pretty sure if I come in here, then you can actually see one of the other tour buses from our ship on a different tour. Anyway, so future-proofing, we've got to really think on our feet coming back to the UK as a family as to how we all future-proof our four businesses. And best advice I can think of is only concentrate on the things you can influence. If you can't influence it, then don't waste energy worrying about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Tobias Wilcock welcoming you aboard Coconut Airways, Flight 372 to Bridgetown, Barbados. We will be flying at a height of 32,000 feet and an airspeed of approximately 600 miles per hour. Refreshments will be served after takeoff. Kindly fasten your safety belts and refrain from smoking until the aircraft is airborne. Whoa, we're going to Barbados. Whoa, back to the palm trees. Whoa, I'm going to see my girlfriend. Whoa, in the Siberian Sea. I don't want to be a husband all my life. I've seen too much of Brixton Town in the night. Fly away on Coconut Airways.
So here we are in the Azores, just making our way back from the Caribbean and indeed Peru, where we first flew out. And I'm just filming in a quiet moment now, just reflecting, as on a cruise ship everybody's talking about the coronavirus, and in touch with our children at home who both run their own businesses. Everybody is discussing the full impact of the coronavirus, and so we as a family too are talking about how we future-proof, how do we keep the businesses going even though there is a huge threat of fear and panic and indeed spread of the virus. Both our children run businesses which are social, involving lots of people interaction, and it is of great concern. So my reflections, I'm just thinking of them and for us as we return to the UK. There should be no reason why we don't get into port safely. We're due in on the 16th of March, and hopefully we're all okay. Everybody's being sanitised, using this sanitisation hand gel, getting on and off of this tour now. Our last port of call is in fact Spain, but I'm even wondering whether we will go in. Let's wait and see. We actually arrived here at Porto Delgado 14 hours early, so we had an overnight and the full day here, and I'm half wondering whether there is something going on behind the scenes involving whether or not we actually go to Spain as well. So we're having to think smart on our feet, and there's two thoughts that have come to me. First of all, always just focus on things you can influence and you can control. The rest of it will just draw you of energy if you have no control over it. And two random thoughts. First of all businesses are run on solving problems. So if your geographical area has changed in any way, your landscape has changed, the Ordnance Survey map has changed, then maybe take an aerial view, stand back, and then ask again, what problem is it that you are solving? And it could well mean that you need to either pivot or persist. And the last random thought is ask a child. If you've got a problem and you can't see a way out of it, then go to a thinking child, because they will think without restrictions and rationalisation or rational thoughts that you and I have. And ask them, give them the problem in the simplest form, and then say to them, what would you do? And sometimes these young brains can come out with some fantastic thinking.